Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Shackleford, and today my guest is Craig Shacklett with URComped. URComped is an independent hosting service, if I understand it correctly. But Craig, can you tell me more what URComped does?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here. As you know, I'm a big fan of you and Wizard of Odds, and have been
Thank you very
for a
much.
while. So it's good to be here. Yeah, what URComp does, we work with casinos and players. We're essentially what's like a two-sided marketplace. So on the one hand, we've got players that may feel like they're kind of trapped in only getting comps from the casinos and cruise lines that they've played with before. And on the other side of the marketplace, we've got casinos and cruise lines and Caribbean resorts that maybe have their own database, but they really love to make comp offers to a wider range of players. And what we do is kind of bridge that gap. So players sign up on URComped, and what makes us really unique is that we've created a very sophisticated but easy for the players onboarding system where they sign up, they upload pictures of the offers that they currently receive from different casinos or cruise lines. We use the offers that they get to figure out what they're worth as a player, figure out their ADT or their average trip theo, and then we match them up based on their ADT with offers from our different cruise and casino partners. So the casinos feel comfortable that they're making offers to players that are pre-qualified, and then players know that they can sign up for free and quickly get offers from new resorts. And a lot of people ask, so to explain how we make money, we don't charge the players. We get a commission from the casinos based on the theoretical of the players that we connect them with. So it's free for the players. Casinos are happy that they got a new guest, and then we get paid based on Theo.
So you already answered one of the questions I was going to ask you is how are you compensated as a host? And you said that it's based on theoretical, not the win-loss of the player, correct?
Yeah, it's correct. Some of the contracts, especially with the cruise lines, it's nice. I mean, they pay us the greater of actual or theoretical. But yeah, generally speaking, it's almost always based on theoretical.
All right. And do you believe that that's the way it works in Las Vegas as well with the hosts that work directly for a casino?
Yeah, it's a good question. It definitely used to be based on Theo, and I'd imagine that that is definitely something that's still like a milestone that they use to get bonused on. But I've heard rumors that some of the casinos have switched to actual on how they bonus hosts. But definitely, without question, those are like the two key metrics on a host success: is how much theoretical are they generating, how much actual. I mean, the thing is with a casino, obviously they can't pay their mortgage with theoretical, so it would make sense if they're paying their hosts on actual. But I don't know, to be honest.
Well, when I was a more active advantage player, I found that hosts were my best friend because they were compensated based on Theo, and I had an enormous Theo, but I usually ran at a profit to myself. So I often felt resistance from the actual casino to give me anything, but the hosts loved me. And so I have recommended to advantage players that as long as you don't mind flying above the radar, to definitely engage the services of the host. Would you agree?
I would agree, and that's reflected in that movie 21, where those guys are just getting comped at like rock stars. If you see the movie or read the book, and which I of course you have, but yeah, those guys are getting picked up in limos, flown out in private jets, and obviously they were winning. Right, it was about the blackjack counting team, but their Theo was so high that that's how they were being comped. So yeah, I think it's still that way. I think for the majority of hosts around Las Vegas or around the country, they're comped based on Theo. But I just wouldn't be able to speak definitively one way or the other.
Craig, what is the appropriate term for what I have always called an independent host, one who doesn't work directly for a specific casino but represents lots of them?
Yeah, you could call it independent host. Some go by junket rep. Some go by national casino host. We really look at ourselves differently than maybe a traditional junket host, and that's because we've automated so much of the process and made it really easy. We've tried to differentiate from kind of the old school junket reps. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we I've got a lot of respect for the people that have built those businesses, and they're doing a great job. I think most of those junket reps or independent hosts fall into two buckets. One is either they focus on a geographic area, and most of their business is filling up a plane to, we're going to Atlantic City this month or this week, and now like we're doing a group cruise, and now we're doing, so it's really focused on hosted events from a specific geography. Or the other junket rep is really focused on the super high-end players, and they'll just take players from wherever. A lot of these junket reps will live in Atlantic City or live in Las Vegas, and really they just go for the high-end clientele, because when you're not using technology in the way that we are, you really have to either make money on big commissions for individuals or on group trips for mid-level players. And what we've done is we've leveraged technology and this marketplace model to be able to, I think, effectively serve mid-level players. Still, our target is really players that are at the level where they probably have a host at a casino. But I'd say most of the independent reps or independent hosts that focus on splinter trips, which are non-group trips, I think most of them are really going for 25K, 50K players and above, whereas we're able to serve players, really starting at $2,000, $3,000 bankroll and above.
So you already touched on this, but how big of a bankroll do you need to get an independent host and use them to negotiate deals for you?
Yeah, so from our perspective, it really depends on the partner we're working with. For cruise lines, like for example, we work with a startup cruise line called Bahamas Paradise out of Florida. They own 2 ships. They leave from Palm Beach, and over there, we're able to serve players that have a $500 to $1,000 bankroll. Whereas maybe Crystal Cruise Lines, which is they pride themselves on 6-star service. That's like a real top-of-the-line cruise line owned by the Genting Group, which is building the Resorts World in Las Vegas. They're going after players that are at a significantly higher level. Really, they want to find players that are $10,000 bankroll or higher. So there's a range depending on the resort. It's really kind of up to our partners, not us. And that's because we use so much technology to make it easier for our team to serve our players. But if you're looking at maybe a traditional independent host or junket rep, if you're looking for I want to be able to pick and choose when I'm going different places, they're really looking at players that are 25K bankroll and above. And I don't want to sound like we don't take those players. We definitely have players that are 100K, $250,000, $500,000 players and above. But yeah, I'd say our sweet spot is really the majority of our players are that $3,000 to $20,000 bankroll range.
All right. And what kind of action do you need to provide, or what kind of bankroll do you need to have to, say, get a comped 7-day Caribbean cruise?
That's another really good question. The cruise lines generally break into 3 or 4 different cabin categories. Really 3. There's an inside cabin, ocean view cabin, balcony cabin. For a comp inside cabin, I'd say $3,000 bankroll is usually about in the range of for a 7-day cruise. Now I should preface that by saying there has to be supporting play we have to be able to feel confident based on the offers a player uploads or from talking to their hosts that they're going to play at a level that that correlates with a $3,000 bankroll. It's not like you can just sign up and say hey, I'm bringing 3,000, but that's the only data point we have. But yeah, I'd say 3,000 is for an inside, and then 5,000 to 7,000 or above for a balcony cabin.
All right, so those figures are a lot less than I thought they would be. So, but I'm sure that the cruise casino, the casino on the cruise ship is not going to be happy if you wire in, say, $20,000 and don't play very much. So to get a balcony suite or cabin on a 1-week cruise, What kind of average bet would they like to see, say, in blackjack?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I should back up. I mean, so somebody can have a $5,000 bankroll on a Las Vegas trip, and they're not generating anywhere near 5,000 in Theo because they're only playing for 2 days, right? On a cruise trip for a week-long trip to the Caribbean, if they're a player that's actually playing every day or almost every day on the cruise, the theoreticals tend to get close to what their bankroll is, if that makes sense. So you're right. I mean, 3,000 is sounds like it's lower, but that's all. I'm looking at it as 3,000 Theo over the course of a trip. And if it's a 7-day trip, then that it correlates to about 500 ADT. It's kind of what they're looking for, give or take.
Okay. Well, let's say you have a player who plays $50 at a $50 average bet for 4 hours a day. What do you think? What kind of room do you think he could get?
Yeah, it depends on the season and the port they're leaving from, the itinerary, because there's, let's say, like summer in Alaska, it's super in demand. And what's different about the cruise business versus um, Las Vegas hotels is that the vast majority of the revenue that a cruise line makes is from selling the hotel rooms. That's like that's who runs the roost when it comes to the casino business, or excuse me, the cruise business is selling the rooms through travel agents or through their retail channels. Whereas in Las Vegas, it's the casino owns it, and so they're willing to just give rooms away because they have so many rooms. There's a lot more aggressive with giving rooms away. So so if it's a season where it's summer, kids are out of school, everyone's vacationing, they know that they could sell out the ship and sell it for a pretty penny. It's really tough to get any player. If it's a $25,000, $50,000 player, get them comped on an Alaska cruise in summer. So the person that's a $50 blackjack player, if we're talking about like fall or something out of Miami, then that should definitely get a comp cruise. It just depends on the demand of the sailing the player's looking for.
All right. And which locations or properties in the Caribbean do you represent?
So today we represent Baha Mar, which is the big, beautiful new resort that went up to challenge Atlantis. It is, I believe it took $4 billion to get it built in several years, and it is absolutely spectacular. Have you been there yet, Michael?
No,
All right.
I've only been to Freeport Island.
All right. Well, we got to take care of that for you. But
Well,
so Baha
I
Mar
hope so.
is one. Resorts World Bimini, which is the closest Bahamian. I always pronounce wrong, like when you pronounce it that way. But the closest Bahamian island to Florida, Resorts World Bimini. That's another one owned by the Genting Group. St. Martin, Sonesta and St. Martin. We work with. There's a new resort in Dominican Republic called Melia, which is will be going live soon. And we're talking to a couple other ones. By the time this goes live, there may be more. But if anybody's ever has that question, you can go to URCompt.com, log in. You'll see the list of all the resorts that we work with.
All right. And it sounds like you don't deal with the kind of players at this level, but are any of your players so big that they can negotiate loss rebates or changes in the game rules, things like that?
Sure. Yeah, we've had it happen before. I mean, the casinos obviously don't like that, right? They don't want to negotiate these things. We definitely asked on behalf of players. It's the tricky thing in the Caribbean, because let's think. There's been one downtown casino that we've negotiated things for, and it was dealer stays on soft 17. Wait, actually, you would probably know the rules better. I can't remember what it was, but we got it approved for, I think it was a $50,000 player. That one didn't involve loss rebates. We were talking to the Baha Mar about a $250,000 player who wanted loss rebates, but Baha Mar already had like a sheet that was pre-negotiated with what they're comfortable with at different levels, and he was asking for more than what was on the sheet, and we just didn't get a deal done. The player didn't end up going. But yeah, I'd say, casinos, especially in the Caribbean, they don't really get into that game until you're talking about a $100K, $250,000 player above. And that's, for us, it's not necessarily our sweet spot at the moment. What we do more of is we say, all right, we've got a few thousand players that fit in this bucket to say Royal Caribbean. What offer do you want to give to these players? So we kind of pre-negotiate everything. It's very, transactional. We minimize the negotiation. Everything's pre-built. And we really only negotiate if it's somebody that's like, I'm a 100K player, $250,000. But that doesn't come along every day.
All right. So say somebody watching this video is interested in your services. How can that player, shall we say, convey to you what his level is so that you may represent him to some of your properties? Like, do you sometimes speak to Vegas hosts? Like, are you friendly with them? Like, might you say, tell me about such and such a player? Or is that kind of information confidential?
So our standard way, it's a really good question. Our standard onboarding process, players sign up at URComped.com. There's a few questions that we ask. And then at the end of it, we ask to upload pictures of your current offers. And you can do that via like text message or email or through the website. So we make it really easy to upload pictures of offers. Now, in some circumstances, whether it's going for like a comp that's really high value, which, or just the offers don't paint a clear enough picture, then we would say, hey, can you help introduce us to one of your hosts in Las Vegas? Now, we have a network of hosts that we could tap into if we need to, but more often than not, we just ask the player, like, hey, who's your host? Do you mind if you put us in touch with them? And then somebody on our team will reach out to the host and just get the info that we need to verify the play and get them comped. We try to do everything we can, like through the offers. We've got a sophisticated algorithm. We've seen all kinds of offers from all kinds of places, and that way it's a lot faster for the player, faster for us if we can do it that way. But yeah, we definitely talk to hosts when we need to.
All right. And say someone watching this video is in the mood to take a vacation to the Bahamas and is interested in playing at the Baha Mar. What would you say are the pros and cons between going through your service and approaching the Baha Mar directly?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think for us, it's what we do is we've established credibility with Baha Mar, with all the cruise lines we work with, so and all the other resorts. So if we go to Baha Mar with a request and we say like, hey, we feel like Michael is this level player, he's going to bring this much bankroll, like we've established credibility, and they know that they can take our word because we've sent hundreds of other players that play at a certain level, and they know that they can trust us. Whereas, if you're just somebody off the street that's sending an email that's like, hey, I'm a $25,000 player, you could be a $2.50 player for all they know, right? Because anybody can send an email like that. So it's credibility and it's convenience, because we know exactly what questions to ask. We know what we need to build the portfolio for you, right? We're almost like an agent, like a sports agent. Like we'll build a case for you. So we'll ask only the questions we need. We'll get the information we need. We'll find out what dates. We'll do everything for you up front, and then we'll work to get it done. So for the player, it's a couple minute conversation, it's a couple text messages, and we're all set. Whereas if you try to do it directly, a lot of these places are on Caribbean time. It may take a week for them to get back to you. It may, it may just never get done, and you end up spinning your wheels. Whereas you come through us, then you're in good hands.
All right, thanks. And this is a little off topic, but are there non-gaming hosts, say a Saudi sheikh wants to cruise around the Mediterranean for 2 weeks, and he doesn't want to bother negotiating deals? Are there hosts that try to arrange, say, his 50-foot yacht and all the kinds of food he likes and whatnot?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you're saying like nothing to do with casino, just like a high-end travel excursion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like say Bill Gates is in the mood to cruise around the Mediterranean for 2 weeks and he wants to just make one call to get it done. Who would he call?
that's a great question. It's funny. Like when we started out early on, there was well, actually, I don't care. I'll just say it was somebody that was like a handler for Dana White, the UFC. Dana White was like, hey, Dana, and they saw on our website, I think at the time we were working with Atlantis, they saw on our website we worked with Atlantis, and they were like, Dana White is coming. He may gamble. He's a 100K player, whatever. He was some big player. He's showing up in 2 days. Can you make this happen? And it was essentially like, it wasn't really a travel agent. It was more of just like a doer, a handler that was kind of an advanced team to make sure that Dana had the right cabana and his wife was really into this. I can't remember all the demands, but it was like, can you please make this happen? Because Atlantis isn't getting back to us in time. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like getting all excited because we're like just trying to get off the ground. And so I'm calling these people on Atlantis, and then they came back to me and they're like, yeah, there's like 4 other people that are calling us to try to get things done for Dana White. It was really funny because I guess this handler just like called everybody that looked like they had any piece of contact with the Atlantis and was just like, please get this done for Dana. And so we didn't end up being the people that facilitated it. But the point is, I'm trying to answer your question that, yeah, there's definitely people out there. We know our niche. We focus on gaming. 90-something% of our business is cruises. The Caribbean casino business is growing for us. But really, we focus on gamblers. But absolutely, there's high-end travel agents. There's handlers, lackeys, whatever the term is for the super wealthy that will make that stuff happen.
All right. So for my listeners who may be interested in using your independent host services, how can they reach you?
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I'd say sign up on URCompt.com and let's do promo code WIZARD. Okay, I need to write that down for myself, but by the time anybody hears this, it will be live. Promo code WIZARD. Sign up with that. We'll send you a free PDF with some tips on how to maximize your comps. We do have an ebook. It's like 7 tips on like how to make sure your theoretical is as high as possible to get you the best offers possible. So this is stuff that if you've been following Michael for a long time, I'm sure you know all of it, but maybe there's 1 or 2 tips that will be valuable to you. So anyway, sign up for URComp.com. It's free. The questions take 5 minutes. Sign up with Wizard. You'll get the PDF. And that's it. URComp.com.
All right. And is that letter U, letter R, or is it YOUARE?
It's a letter U, letter R, COMPED.com.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Craig. That was very informative, and I'm sure that my readers learned a great deal about the whole business of independent hosts and why they should get one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Michael. It was a pleasure, of course. And anytime you want to talk comps or exotic travel, you know who to call.
All right. Thanks, Craig.
All right. Thank you, Michael.